on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Friday's 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. You're kind of doing a how many fingers am I holding up exercise here for me. But, of course, so many great responses yesterday. It's nice to feel some love in the community, especially for one of the good guys. That would be Rayen Patnaik over there. My dude, how you doing? How's Mama Rayen Pack?
I want to say thank you so much. It was tons and tons of outpouring support and messages I received. It meant a lot to me, and I relayed those messages to my mom as she went out for surgery this morning. She was very emotional heading out, but I just got off a FaceTime call with her. She's got wrapped up. Thumbs up from the surgeon. It was a successful surgery. So now she's just in observation mode overnight, and hopefully she'll be returning home tomorrow. But with that said, I just want to say thank you so much again. It meant a lot to me. It's nice when the community all comes together, and that really did mean a lot to me. And I want to say thank you to you, Eric, as well. You didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate all the support you guys said in those YouTube comments, some Twitter messages, some DMs, all of that. Really appreciate that.
There's about a 0.0% chance that I would be a member of Awesemo.com without your help. It's the very, very, and I mean the very least that I could do. Give you a shout out, give you some love because you deserve it. Either way, NBA DFS is going on here at the moment. I don't know. I haven't seen the final here. Did Memphis double up Oklahoma City here? 68 points is the worst loss coming into tonight in NBA history. And now we're looking at, they were down 75 here with 2 minutes left. What is the final score of that game, Ryan?
152-79.
Wow. That does it. You just had the worst defeat ever. I played some Paul Watson. I guessed wrong. It was the Memphis side of Scrubs that we probably...
It's 73, right? That 73 was the deficit?
73, that's a large deficit. Yeah. Or 71. I'm not doing the math. I'm not looking at the number. Because again, I just have my notes up and there's a lot going on. And all I know is that I am praying that Cameron Payne can continue going insane. That's what he's doing right now. I need it because Middleton, Drew Holiday. Talk to me a little bit about your process when you get 15 minutes before the slate starts. Massive news that Giannis Antetokounmpo is not going to play.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting to see. At first, just because of like all the NFL showdown single game contests that were in play, it's tough to manage so much with NBA late swap. So I chose not to play DraftKings. As soon as the news hit, I rapid fired some entries off over there on DraftKings, and I was just curious to see how sharp the ownership got. And 40% of the field got to Chris Middleton. And
it was surprising. And I will say that this might be a change of the times. It wasn't 10 minutes before lock. It was like 15, 20 minutes we got the news that Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't in the starting lineup announced in the arena. 15 minutes beforehand, we got him ruled out. I think that now in the modern NBA, if people are going to be playing NBA and they're going to be playing a lot of entries, they're probably paying attention to just about everything that we are as well for news. News God makes it super easy for us here at Awesemo. Check him out in the premium Discord and in YouTube chat for all of our shows. But I'm right there with you. Drew Holiday was the guy that ended up a little bit lower owned than he probably should have been. I'm guessing he would have been north of 40%. I bet Chris Middleton still would have been north of 50%. If we had that news earlier, you would have had a ton of mid-range options to pick and choose from there. But I was with you. I jammed a bunch of those guys. I don't know if it's going to pay off there, but I think it was the right play. I would do it all over again. Anything you would change?
Yeah, I think I overreacted a little bit just for lack of time. I even manually made sure to get even more of like the secondary guys of Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, where in hindsight to look back at it, there was already really good value, better value than them on the slate. That's where I probably did my mistake there, just because of the lack of time, not being able to rehearse everything like I would tend to do before the slate tips off. But I think just being aggressively over the field on Drew Middleton and Bobby Portis was priority one. Mm-hmm. And I think I definitely did that. And it's gonna come down to the end of the slate. I mean, there's an 80-point blowout, 73-point blowout,
73 points.
Yeah, confirmed NBA largest deficit. And not every day you're gonna see a 73-point blowout, but when you do, you better play some blowout run, guys.
Yeah, Drew Holiday, 47 fantasy points. That's lovely. But hey, Ty Jerome got there. 22.5 at 3,200 on DK. That's useful. God, what are my Yahoo lineups doing? I don't know. I don't want to screw up anything I have on the screen here. But everybody, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. If not for me, if not for Ryan, for Mama Rayen Pack, I think that that's the best course of action is to use this as much as we possibly can to our advantage. No, I'm just serious. Hit the like button because you like us. All right. 9 games. You ready to get going? My friend, because you hate my blank. And I'm just never going to say it to you again.
Let's ride.
There you go. All right. Point guard on the top end, Steph Curry, 11,900. Luka Doncic, 11,800. James Harden, 11,500. Russell Westbrook, 11K. Again, we're going guard in general here, but the first four guys are all point guard. And then Russell Westbrook, 11K there. LeBron James, that Q tag sounds like he cleared protocols and he's going to be back, which is surprising to me. But that kind of makes every Laker against the Clippers a little bit unappealing to me. Trae Young, 10-2, coming off of an eruption, 63-point fantasy game up against Malcolm Brogdon defense. Don't look at defense, everybody. There we go. Bradley Beal, 9,200. So basically, we've got some premium options on this 9-game slate to pay up for at the guard position. Who are your favorites?
Yeah, just going up at top. I mean, it's funny, the Lakers got taken off national television for a Phoenix Suns game. That was amazing the other night, and I think it'll be another good game at Chase Center. But yeah, LeBron James definitely got tested around the clock and is now available to play. So that obviously takes away the appeal of guys like Russ and Anthony Davis. But just going down the point guard and guys who have guard eligibility over there on DraftKings, up top, Luka versus this Pelicans team. I like going to Luka Doncic at 11-8. I do think there should be some enough value to get him in on a 9-game slate. If you want to go to Steph Curry, I don't think you should. Mikal Bridges is an all-NBA defender, and he just absolutely harassed Steph Curry.
I just said we don't look at defense. We don't do that unless it's Davion Mitchell. But sure, Mikal Bridges, probably another clamp down dude. I mean, I do factor in a little Mikal Bridges.
He harassed Steph, and don't get me wrong, Steph Curry's matchup proof will be figured out in essentially a couple nights. He definitely can. I mean, he's the greatest shooter that there ever is. I mean, I can't fault you there. But another pivot off of that would be James Harden, in a pivot of 11-5. All these guys have 70-plus point upside. And if they hit for 70-plus, you're going to probably need them. But if you want to spend down a little bit in the next tier, guys, I mean, LeBron James coming back, I think he should be fine. He'll be low-owned as he always has been this year. Other guys who have just guard eligibility, Donovan Mitchell, 8,800. I think it's pretty solid option. I think just natural this year to see these studs priced up a little bit more than they have in the past. I think Brandon Ingram, shooting guard only. I really like that price tag. There's going to be a game where Brandon Ingram gets 50 fantasy points before Zion Williamson comes back. I just want to be there. I mean, come on. Am I asking for a lot? I mean, you're a Brandon Ingram lover.
I'm obsessed with Brandon Ingram. And, I was just realizing. So I was staying after Zoom a little bit with Jordan Klein, with Greg Ehrenberg, and our friend Jordan Frank. Joey Corman. I don't know why. So many JK and then everything else. But yeah, that's the way my brain is working. But we were chatting about who the guys that we are the most right or most wrong on in certain sports. I threw out Miguel Sano, who I thought was going to be good for the Twins. That didn't happen. Guys like Anthony Edwards, we thought might have been worse as a number one pick. He ends up coming to fruition. A guy that I was wrong about coming out of college at Duke was Brandon Ingram, and I rectified that mistake immediately. The guy's just a scorer. The guy getting out of the situation with the Lakers and going to the Pellies, he's going to blossom, and eventually, as you said, he's going to spike massive upside. 7,900, still too cheap there. 36.5, but they got clobbered by Dallas, so I'm not reading too much into that one. 31 minutes. Maybe you can play a little bit more there. Jakob Poeltl, nice start here for the Spurs, 11-5 there. Yeah, again, we're just recording this here, getting it going. Tyler Hero, 7,500 sitting there. I don't know what all of this Miami news is going to look like here, but I got to be thinking Jimmy Butler. With him being ruled out on Wednesday, there's probably a good chance that he's not going to be playing here. It's got the out tag next to him over on DK, but I'm assuming he's going to be out here as is, and we already know Bam Adebayo is going to be out for a while, so Tyler Hero, definitely going to be the class of the position for me. 7,500, I still really like that number for him. Lots of upside waiting in store there. Savers. Devontae Graham, 4,700 there. Played 30 minutes even in that blowout. They need him to kind of get right for this team to not even just be successful, because I don't know if that's the goal, but to just be competent. So Devontae Graham still down there cheap. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, is he just broken at this point?
It's been very disappointing. I mean, there was a big pathway for him the other night, and they just got absolutely clapped by the Mavs, and he was okay. I mean, I just thought this was going to be Alexander Walker's year. I mean, that's the reason why they chose not to re-sign Lonzo Ball, and I thought they just wanted to give him some extra more minutes. Man, he has been a massive, massive disappointment. I mean, other guys who have this point guard eligibility didn't really sub 6K against the Cleveland team. I think willing to take some tournament options with him. Other guys in that price range to spend down, I think Campaign. in a matchup versus Golden State tomorrow. I think I think we can definitely consider a $3,700 campaign. I think he might be popular based on how well he does tonight. So keep that in mind as you look at this. Guys who have guard eligibility. Other guys, look, Duncan Robinson became a meme overnight. It was kind of funny. He got the bag and just ran a bunch of Fitbit minutes and got his steps in. But hey, if I got $80 million or $90 million to just do that and live in Miami, I mean, can't blame Duncan Robinson. I just had to mention that. I don't think he's in play at $4,500, but can he bounce back and knock down 6 to 7 3-pointers in a game? Yeah, sure. He did that in the finals, and he once outscored Anthony Davis in terms of fantasy points in the NBA Finals. So Duncan Robinson, not to say that he'll bounce back. He's a really good shooter. He can definitely figure things out. I think we can going insane with Karis LeVert again, $5,700. I think that's the last guy I wanted to mention.
Got it. Going to FanDuel here, Luka Doncic sitting there at 10.5. You got James Harden at 10.4. You've got Steph Curry up there at 10.8 at the point guard position, a little bit higher than both of them. There, Russell Westbrook, 9,900. Trae Young, 9,700. Again, Kyrie Irving out. I don't know why he's even listed up there. Jimmy Butler, I am assuming he's going to be out here. Bradley Beal, 8,700 there at the shooting guard position. Again, I'm going back and forth because I love this process we have going. Chris Paul, 8,700 there. You're more than likely. I'm just assuming Devin Booker, he's going to be out here for a hot second. It says he's expected to miss a few games. So just assume he's going to be out here again. Cam Johnson's going nuts here as well. So that's going to be somebody to just kind of keep in mind. But Cameron Payne, as you said, definitely going to be somebody that sticks out on every single site coming off of today. But for me, the class at the position at guard is Tyler Hero, 7K. I guess you can play him at small forward as well. Soft pricing. We're going to play him. I'm going to play a lot of Malcolm Brogdon at 7,800. It just all kind of makes sense. Talk to me about guard on FanDuel.
Yeah, guys have point guard, shooting guard eligible on FanDuel. Hope you guys have been enjoying this guard forward center format. I think it's more beneficial for both parties. So just going down this list, I think, Steph Curry, 10.8, Luka 10.5. Like Luka at that price tag quite a bit at 10.5. Look, he's going to come back around. He's just starting slow, playing himself into shape. James Harden, similar fashion. He's showing some signs of his old self. So I think these guys are both fine options to consider. Other guys at their price tag, Trae Young was magnificent last time out. I think taking some chances against Philly. No issues there. Donovan Mitchell, yet again, $8,400. Deandre Russell, 82 in a matchup versus his former team. I think I'll be about that. I prefer Russell to Cole Anthony. Malcolm Brogdon hasn't been priced high enough. $7,800. I like that quite a bit. KPJ, if he were to, I believe KPJ is set to miss some time now.
Yeah, he is. He had a hamstring injury that was thrown out today. Hamstring.
KPJ is set to miss time. Christian would be probable, who we'll touch on going into the forward center slate. But if there's no Jimmy Butler, I'll go back to Kyle Lowry. I know he disappointed a lot of us, but I think in the nature of DFS, mathematically, it was a good play the other night, and I think it'll be a good play yet again if there's no Jimmy Butler. Other guys that stick out at their price tag, really tough to like anyone right now. Sub 5K with a ton of interest on point guard, shooting guard eligibility. There will be value that will open up. The last guy I kind of like is probably Jalen Brunson at 5K. Him and Devontae Graham are probably the guys. If there's no Josh Hart, Devontae Graham yet again, I think solidifies his minutes. But kind of an ugly point guard, shooting guard slate over there on FanDuel on a 9-game slate.
I was floored, and I think the right word is floored, by Kevin Huerter's ownership. Last slate. He's 4,800 on FanDuel. People apparently really want to play this guy a lot. Shooting dependent dude when he's very, very popular. Not my favorite kind of play, but he did play 38 minutes against New York and then 34 against Indiana his last two. Put up 27.3. He's still sub 5K. I bet he gained some traction, but I'm just throwing him out there as somebody who's going to be popular, and I don't want to play Cameron Payne. I don't know what to say. 4,700 for him here, coming off of an explosion game. Another guy that I just don't know what those. He's so good on a fantasy point per minute rate, and a guy that I've traditionally had really good juju with. So I prefer him, but I think the field might too. But just throwing Kevin Huerter out there, if he's going to be popular, no chance that I'm going to play him. But if he's not, I will probably have more than I'm comfortable with. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's a key decision point will be the Cam Reddish situation. Cam Reddish coming into play. If he were to play, I think that would just take Kevin Huerter out of any consideration.
Thank God. Please do that. Please play Cam Reddish because I don't even want to think about it. Or I want him to be out, and then everybody can play 25% Kevin Huerter when I have 0. That seems like maybe the route I should prefer. Just eliminate fourth of the field before you even start. Whatever. I like NBA DFS so much. Here we go. James Harden, $49 on Yahoo. Luka Doncic, 49 as well. Steph Curry, 48. Nice little cluster for those three. We do have Kevin Durant there sitting at $51, the most expensive play on the slate. So in the context of it, James Harden, Doncic, and Steph Curry all being cheaper, I prefer every single one. But the problem is that they're all at the guard position, and then you only have Kevin Durant as a spend up at power forward there with Anthony Davis. I guess Anthony Davis is questionable, and that's a big part of something that I should have talked about on the front end, as well as Kristaps Porzingis. So the power forward position could look really strong, or it could look very, very weak based on those news. Huge pieces of news coming into this slate, but back to the guard position. Russell Westbrook, $42 would become very intriguing if you get Anthony Davis off the floor up against the Clippers here. I mean, they're both at home, I guess. You could say both teams, but it's a Lakers home game. Trae Young, Atlanta, $40 there for him. Chris Paul, $35. Donovan Mitchell, $34. What's sticking out to you at the guard position on Yahoo?
Yeah, I mean, a spot usually where I don't tend to spend down unless if there's outstanding value in the point guard spot. But Cam Payne is the guy who sticks out to me right now. I think you will love that min price at $10 if everything comes to fruition. He's going to be popular there for sure. But if you want to spend up for some of these studs, I mean, Luka Doncic is $49. James Harden, $49. I prefer Luka to Harden at the same price tag. Other guys at their price tag, I think Brandon Ingram, $29 stands out to me pretty good.
Thad Young is in the freaking rotation tonight. What is Pop doing? Pop hates me. I don't know what to do with this. I'm playing Showdown, doing all of this stuff, and trying to keep it together, keep it cool on a pretty crazy NBA slate. And Thad Young goes out there, gets a steal, rebound, and assist in like a minute. Whatever. That's Thad Young for you. He's really good when he's on the floor. It's just impossible to know if he's actually going to see the flipping floor. All right, that's everything for guard, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo. This is everything you need to know if you're a new user. Bam, at Yahoo, because you'll get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum with your first time deposit of $10 or more and playing in any paid contest. Now, the $20 for football has $200K of overlay. That is free money that they are putting into the tournament to make it negative rake. Yeah, it's going to fill, but who cares if it fills? Because it is literally already being better than rake free. Better than rake free. You need to get in tournaments like that. They had the $1 for Thanksgiving. They're doing tons of crazy promotions all the time. And if you want to be a new user at Yahoo and take advantage of some of those great contests, you'll now also get every single sport we offer behind the paywall at Awesemo. That is NBA, that's NFL, going to be a crazy, crazy Sunday slate with all the injuries that are coming down the pipeline that are coming into play. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to playing on Yahoo, and I know you will too if you sign up today. So go take advantage of that now. All right, here we go. Forward. We're heading over there over on DK. Kevin Durant, 11-4 up there. Anthony Davis there with the Q tag, big part. LeBron James, 10-4 there, right below Anthony Davis's 10-9. Paul George, 10-3. He's been very, very disappointing, and we've tried to make him a thing, but he has not eclipsed 53.25 fantasy points in his last 10. It's frustrating, not ideal, but the volume's there. It's not like he's not going to go out and chuck it. He still scored 27 real points. We just need some of those other counting stats to start getting added into the equation. And against the Lakers, which have been giving up big games to stars of late, I'm happy to try to make that a thing and make that a stand, especially because you have those 2 games in the late night hammer, Phoenix and Golden State. I'm going to like a lot of those value pieces from Phoenix, just like everybody else. And then getting to some studs there, mixing and matching based on ownership and how your lineups are doing in the early window of games. You'll have some swappability to studs in that 10 p.m. time with Phoenix and Golden State in one game, and then the Clippers and Lakers. So wanted to touch on that with the studs there. But then Jayson Tatum there at 10-1. I don't think he's going to garner any attention so long as Jaylen Brown is out there playing. That makes him maybe intriguing for deep tournaments. Jaylen Brown, is he going to be playing? Nope, he's out. So there you go. Jayson Tatum, he's going to be popular. Talk to me about the top end of forward.
Yeah, I'll be trying to get above the field on Paul George for sure. $10,300 matchup against the Lakers. I think definitely taking my chances there. I think he'll be low owned, and I think he has an upside. Just in this, it's a different role without Kawhi Leonard, and we saw it throughout the conference finals since when Kawhi got hurt. There have been some flashes throughout the season, but it's something that I'll be willing to take my chances on. spending a little bit down. I mean, Anthony Edwards, I think this guy likes to play up to competition. He plays some serious swagger. Yeah, he's been definitely, he gets the shot volume, and that's one way of paying off value for sure. So, and if you want to go to Kevin Durant in that same game, he's going to be low on, I think, as well. 11-4. He's expensive, but he's been pretty darn solid all season long. I mean, player of the month. I mean, he's just continuing to show why he's Kevin Durant. People just like never feel like he's never gotten enough credit of how talented he is of just a basketball player at times. Going down a little bit, I think Jayson Tatum with no Jaylen Brown. It's a matchup versus Utah 10-1. I think I'd rather like take my chances on LeBron, Paul George, and KD to find these extra $100 there. But based on that decision alone, I think Tatum's going to be very low owned. And yeah, can he outscore them? Yeah, it can definitely happen. If you were to run the slate out 100 times, maybe it happens 2 or 3 times. I mean, Tatum's that talented of a player. Looking down a little bit, guys who Jayson Tate, a guy who absolutely destroyed the slate the other time out. Now no Kevin Porter
Understatement.
Jr. 6K, small forward, power forward eligible versus Orlando. It's going to be an ownership decision play. If this guy's coming in at a ton of ownership, I'll be willing to pivot on a 9-game slate. But damn, to fade a 70-point fantasy performance, and if he's not going to be popular, I think Jayson Tate's going to be an interesting decision point tomorrow for sure.
Big kahunas to fade that at 6K. There's just nobody else out there. I mean, and it's a bad team on the other side, so any kind of blowout risk. I'll say Eric Gordon is a guy. He's 4,900. You can probably click on his name. Garrison Matthews got inflated up to 4,500, but 36 minutes there. No Kevin Porter. No Kevin Porter, and Christian Wood questionable. It's saying he's probable, so I think Christian Wood is going to be good to go. But Jayson Tate, 6K, still a lot of ability and opportunity, should I really say, more so than ability for him to go nuts there. So yeah, that's going to be a guy to keep track of, because I do expect the same thing as you. Coming off of slate-breaking performances, that's what happens. Talen Horton-Tucker becomes interesting if you get Anthony Davis off the floor. Just a little bit more scoring that can get out there, but 5,300 isn't a very appealing number. I think he's more advantageously priced over on other sites, specifically Yahoo, but 5,800 for him on FanDuel, not going to be great either. Terrence Mann, 4,900. I don't really want to be doing anything there with these Clippers here now with Paul George back in there for today. But it's going to really come down to Cam Johnson. 4,200 for him there at the small forward position. I think he's going to garner tons and tons of attention there. You can play him small forward, power forward. That adds some versatility. And last 2 guys I'll throw into the mix with Kristaps Porzingis, Maxi Kleber, Dorian Finney-Smith. Am I excited about either of them? No, but probably Kleber. He's played major 30 minutes in the absence of Kristaps Porzingis in some of these games. He's played upwards of 36 minutes there in recent games where you didn't have Porzingis. So I think that there is an opportunity for him to play a bulk of minutes and be some kind of viable at 4,100. Just want to throw him out there. What do you think about those guys? And then we'll move on.
Yeah, I think those are some solid options that you mentioned off. I mean, one of these guys, you're going to have to spend down somewhere, right? I mean, you just have to. Terrence Ross is $3,100, a guy who can get hot off the bench. I mean, a lot of things have to go his way, but look, I'm like digging for some value at this moment, and it's tough. And this is what makes an exciting tournament slate. When people have to make tough decisions, that's when you can mix and match and really give your lineup build a lot different look than whatever the consensus lineup build looks like. And that's something that I really like in tournaments to take advantage of. Even Landry Shamet at 4K, he's going to be lower owned than he was today, but can he get hot from the outside? Definitely can. He closed out that really well against that same Golden State team the other night. But those are some options for sure. We'll touch on the Lakers front court situation. I'm not sure how much it was reported, but the DeAndre Jordan experiment is now over in LA, and Dwight Howard will be the starting center going forward.
That could be fun. Because DeAndre Jordan's terrible. He's been terrible for a while. He's like the best friend of everybody. That it's like, yay, I clap really loud, and then I play 10 minutes a game and whatever. That's what he did in Brooklyn. It's basically what he did in Dallas. That's what he's going to do here. So have fun. DeAndre Jordan, I don't know what your next endeavor is. It's probably not going to be NBA basketball. Maybe it will be. Maybe that's some hyperbole, but I don't know. Don't really care. Here we go to the forward position over on FanDuel. Kevin Durant, 11K for him there. LeBron James, 10K. That's a nice number. But Jayson Tatum, 9,500 and Paul George, 9,200. I find myself gravitating towards those numbers quite a bit here. At the power forward position, adding that into the fray. Christian Wood, 8,600. he should be good to go. I think that that's going to be something that garners some attention, considering if you throw out the game that he just burned everybody there, he's still 61.7 and 59.2. Absolutely obsessed with those two numbers. It's a pretty good basketball player there in Christian Wood against Orlando, who's terrible. And Kristaps Porzingis 8,500 for him. Probably don't want to get there, even if he is ruled in. Just probably not enough minutes upside for me. Seems like they've kind of tempered them off here a little bit in recent games. 26 and 27 minutes. They're the last two. Coming off injury, not for me. Talk to me about forward on FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, if they're the guy who I'm going to look to right away is Anthony Davis, and I was kind of preluding that situation with Dwight Howard because Frank Vogel said they're only going to be using one center, and that means Anthony Davis at the 5, some extra fantasy potential for AD, and if for those who are new, I do have an Anthony Davis problem. I'm always over the field on Anthony Davis, and it's just the nature of how I play DFS when he's on the slate. It's probably burned me more than not, but he's paid off many times when he's been low owned. So I cannot complain there. Look, you want to spend up for KD, you know what you're getting with that. It's real nice. Christian Wood, no KPJ versus Orlando. Should eat. I believe he was on a walking boot, and now he's probable.
Ooh.
So good for him. And that means I think we should definitely be taking our chances there. LeBron James will be low owned at 10K. I think that's a solid option to take advantage of as well. Spending a little bit down. I think we know the Blake Griffin era at Brooklyn is now he's a bench warmer. So LaMarcus Aldridge is playing a ton of minutes at $5,700. Take your chances there. Maxi Kleber, who you talked about earlier, $4,700. I think he's one of those guys that I'm never too excited to roster just because I don't think he can put up a ton of points right off the bat. But that's how I really feel about Maxi Kleber.
Yeah, he could play a ton of minutes. That's the one enthusiastic thing. Another guy, Royce O'Neal, it sounds like he's going to be good to go here too. 4,800. You can maybe throw him to the mix. Bojan Bogdanovic, 4,800 as well. Can spike a shooting upside, even though it hasn't necessarily happened the last couple. That's kind of why you take shots, but it depends on the other value that shows up on this slate. Marcus Morris, 4,500. Ya boy, Marcus Morris. Only played 21 minutes against Sacramento, but they basically sat all of their scrubs there in the second half there. It just got out of hand against the Kings, and then they came back with some of their scrubs, and they just left them out on the floor. Let's jump over to Yahoo here, kind of closing it out. I know that Ryan had to step away from the screen here for 1 second, but I'm looking at the forward position on Yahoo. Kevin Durant, $51. Anthony Davis, $48. Paul George, $45. LeBron James, $43. But Jayson Tatum, $42. With no Jaylen Brown, even against a tough Utah team, I could see him garnering quite a bit of attention there. Anthony Edwards is probable to go here, $35. We know the kind of upside he has in any game up against Brooklyn. Surely still has that same upside. And then Tobias Harris, $30. Wendell Carter, $28 alongside John Collins. Nice to get Wendell there at the power forward position. And Draymond Green been playing really well, even though it hasn't showed up at the fantasy box score the last two. Anytime he touches the floor, triple-double upside. So I'm okay taking some shots there. Talk to me about the forward spot over on Yahoo. Oh, I will talk to myself here about the forward spot on Yahoo for 1 second. I had to jump over. I know Ryan's, obviously got a lot of responsibilities here tonight, so I'm going to keep it on rolling. Jayson Tatum for this Celtics team with no Jaylen Brown. We know that there's a little bit of a bump that he's going to take there. That's going to be somebody that I want to get to for sure on this slate. I think quite a bit at $42. Relative to Paul George at 45 and Kevin Durant at 51, I think a little bit better point per dollar play there. But Ryan, what sticks out to you at forward on Yahoo?
Yeah, my apologies there. I had to step away.
Oh, good, bud.
There was a call that I had to take. But looking at the forward position over there on Yahoo, I mean, look, Yahoo does an excellent job with pricing, and where they tend to mess up is usually in the cheaper guys, and that's where you're trying to find the value on Yahoo. There'll be one cheap guy that sticks out and really makes us fit all the rest of the studs in. But just looking at the forward spot over there on Yahoo, I mean, we touched on all the spend up options over and over again, but guys who I really want to take advantage of, I think going to a guy like John Collins, it's $28, and a guy who's never really rostered. It's just the nature of John Collins in DFS. I think that's one guy you can definitely go to. But if you want to spend down a little bit more, I think Kevin Huerter's $13. We saw TLC start last time. He's the min. If there's no Cam Reddish, we could go there as well. Marcus Morris Sr., I think that experiment for me is done. And when I say that, he's just going to go off against the Lakers. So he's $14. I think you can take your chances on him for sure.
Cameron Johnson, $10.
And yeah, Cam Johnson as well, who's been I think lighting it up as we speak right now. So as the Pistons came all the way back in that game. So
Oh,
really,
wow.
yeah, they were down 20 and now they're within one. Go figure.
Yeah, no kidding. And then you've got Herbert Jones. I will say they got blasted, so don't read too much into that. $11. I mean, if you're looking for a guy who can get you 20, he's going to get you 20 probably there. He's just going to play enough minutes to do something like that. Not super enthusiastic, but with these rookies, I talked about it with Isaac Okoro. Maybe a different situation for him. Herbert Jones, maybe as he progresses, maybe there's some offensive game that shows up. And I don't know, $11, you could do worse. Just a guy to throw into the mix at super low ownership. If he's rostered, you just don't play him. How about that? That's a pretty easy solution. Pretty easy way to handle it. Ryan, let's get you out of here. Let's go to the center position over on DK. Anthony Davis, 10-9. Joel Embiid, 10-5. Zion, as you said, setback in his recovery. So we're going to see some J-Val interest there. Even at 9,400, it sounds ridiculous, but can't besmirch his ceiling. And his ceiling is still going to be something that you're paying up for. Of course, his medium projection is not going to look good compared to, the likes of these other guys. But the one guy that I've kind of been saving here for the very end of our podcast is Karl Anthony Towns is questionable. Because again, we don't want to give you everything on the front end, all the news from the get-go. Karl Anthony Towns is questionable, and if he's out, this entire slate gets turned on its head because it is Naz Reid day. Talk to me about the center position.
Yeah, so the center position is interesting. I mean, up top you got Anthony Davis there, and Rudy Gobert has been a stud all year long. Gobert's been pretty rock solid himself. Guys have been priced up. Christian Wood, Jonas Valanciunas. Joel Embiid smashed last time out, and nobody played him. Absolutely no one played him. He was really low-owned, and I liked him quite a bit. Unfortunately, Dwayne Dedmon was on that slate. I think I'll be going to Joel Embiid yet again. Now, if Cat were to play, I think I'll have some interest in him. I know you bring up Naz Reid. I'm curious to see if at any point they might just go small with Vanderbilt at the 5 and then slide in Beasley against this Brooklyn Nets team. It could happen. So I do think Naz Reid's a solid play if he starts, and if we get that, I think Naz Reid's an excellent fantasy contributor when given the minutes. I think that's an excellent play, but I just think we can be cautious. He might get played off the court, and Naz Reid is not a very good defender. He's not. He won't be able to stay in front of guys like KD and James Harden. Mostly.
He won't have to. He'll be in front of LaMarcus Aldridge, who just stands. So I will say LaMarcus Aldridge stands on the perimeter. I think that's a good thing for Naz Reid. No, I'm serious. I think Naz Reid is a good fantasy performer, over a 1.1 fantasy point per minute player with no Karl Anthony Towns there over the course of the last 3 years.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I just think in switches and over again, I just think that might happen. And
right.
That's just the only thing I'd be a little cautious with Naz Reid. But if he were starting and ready to go, I think he's a solid option. Just going down the other guys, DeAndre Ayton was absolutely sensational. They just force-fed the ball to him, and I think going back to Ayton will be a priority for me on this slate. No questions asked. I don't know how they're going to adjust for that game plan. I think they might just let Ayton eat again. I don't know. But I think taking your chances on DeAndre Ayton, who's doing pretty well, I think, on tonight's slate, I think will be very popular yet again for tomorrow. I mean, there's no Devin Booker. Keep that in mind. That's pretty significant missing piece for the Suns team. Evan Mobley continues to crush. I mean, the guy's elite. If he's not going to win Rookie of the Year, I don't know who is. But Evan Mobley, I think taking some chances there could definitely pan out.
Evan Mobley, automatic Rookie of the Year. It'd be absurd if he wasn't. I'm going to round out this Minnesota situation because, of course, you get Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell who stick out. You would get to some Malik Beasley at 4,300. He'd be a great play here as well for Minnesota with no Cat. But yeah, Jared Vanderbilt would probably still be starting there, 4,800. I would like to get to him at a 0.9 fantasy point per minute production that he's put up over the course of the last year. Naz Reid, I'm probably in the boat where I would just have an insane amount of him, like just an insane amount, even on a 9-gamer. I'm not sure if you have concerns, I understand, but like such a good fantasy point per minute producer. And against Brooklyn, I think that there's enough firepower at other positions. As bad as what he is as a defender, there's really nobody else behind him. I mean, Nathan Knight, we've seen some minutes for him, I believe, back against Atlanta. Not a notoriously good defender in that regard either. Looking at who else would be kind of coming in there. Taurean Prince, too small to go up against the likes of LaMarcus Aldridge or Kevin Durant. So I know Naz Reid isn't the biggest center, but still a piece that I would like a lot of, so long as he's not like 55% owned or something, which could definitely happen. That's stuff that happens in NBA DFS now, but I would be obsessed with him to the point of not being able to get off of it. All right, to the center position on FanDuel, Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid, 10-5 and 10-2 respectively. Karl Anthony Towns, 9,300. If he plays, I want it. If he doesn't, obviously you know what to do. In my opinion and Ryan's opinion, we both have slightly different, but Rudy Gobert, 8,900. Christian Wood, 8,600 there. Obviously, a power forward center, a big part of it. Clint Capella, 8,400. The guy's had some massive upside here of late as well. Going up against this 76ers team, I know he'll have to be used a lot against Joel Embiid. And yeah, that can be a huge negative and get in foul trouble. But what's nice is he'll definitely have to be on the floor every single time that he possibly can against Joel Embiid. And J-Val at 8,200. How do we not love that? Talk to me about center on FanDuel.
Yeah, the center slate on FanDuel. Guys, I mean, AD and Rudy Gobert we touched on. I love Christian Wood's price tag, 8,600. Valanciunas, 8,200. I know he disappointed everyone last time. Disappointed me massively. I think he was my favorite center off of Deadman, along with Christian Wood. Both just were terrible due to blowout and injury. But I think going back to those guys is completely fine. Embiid will be low owned at 10-2, has a huge upside within him. But other centers, if you want to spend down a little bit, I think Naz Reid's in play if he's starting for sure. I mean, he'll be an excellent value. But Karl Towns, only $9,300. I think matchup versus Brooklyn, you could definitely go there. But I love DeAndre Ayton yet again, 7,800. I really have a tough time going to anybody cheaper than LaMarcus Aldridge, not named Naz Reid if he's starting. And I don't think I could even go to Deadman at 5,500. I think he's priced appropriately. And at that price, I think the opportunity cost of missing out on upside games from the previous aforementioned centers, I think. How I feel. Is there a cheap center that you like?
I still like Deadman at 5,500. I still think it's going to be close. There's going to be a lot of projection sites that are going to make it look, but what I will say is a very large positive for having Dwayne Deadman there is the same thing for Naz Reid. Who's the backup? We're going to have Yurtseven come in there and guard Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis? No. And even then, you're looking at a big being on the floor constantly there. So as much as Deadman can play, he's going to. And at 4,800 on DK, he's already going to project out well. On FanDuel at 5,500, it's a stretch, maybe, but it's still probably looking pretty good. Dwight Howard, 5,200. He played 35 minutes against the Kings. Dwight Howard is going to be popular at 5,200. I just get that weird feeling. And Naz Reid, 4,400, of course. If he ends up starting, we're going to just play tons of him. So those are the three guys that I have my eye on. Anything to add to those?
No, I think I missed the Dwight Howard thing. Yeah, I think he's someone with the role that if he's going to play the DeAndre Jordan role, that one interests me. But I think Dwight Howard's just a superior fantasy, just superior basketball player in all things put together. Well,
he was amazing as a backup in Philly, but he's going to play the DeAndre Jordan role plus the Dwight Howard role. That's kind of the way that I look at it. So if you get AD out, man, Dwight Howard, just all systems go, fire it all up. I think you can maybe be a little bit apprehensive if you get all of those three studs in with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook. He'll still be out there, but that's a lot of bigs on the floor, a lot of height, a lot of craziness going on with that team, that Lakers team. Should be fun to watch, though. DeAndre Jordan was not fun to watch post Clippers ever. Like, just legitimately never. It was Lob City or bust. Chris Paul, it's almost like he's really good and makes centers better. Shocking. Also, three teams, 17 consecutive wins in his career. Clippers, Suns, and I can't remember what the other one was.
Rockets, right?
Rockets, yeah. Unbelievable. Chris Paul is out of his mind what he's capable of doing. I think that Rockets team went on a really long run once upon a time with him in Harden there. But either way, let's finish this puppy out here so you can get and tend to all the things in the world. I have some things to tend to too, because, I have to be helpful as a husband in the world. I have to put things away and do dishes, and nobody gives a shit about that. Let's go. Jonas Valanciunas up there on the top. $32 is going to be a guy I've got my eye on alongside Clint Capella. That'll be a fun decision point. But Joel Embiid, $47 at the top end. Karl Anthony Towns under $40. That's under 20% of the cap over on Yahoo, and that's pretty good to get a stud for. So if Cat's in, that should be interesting. I know you like Gobert quite a bit over on Yahoo. Traditionally, $36 still looks decent enough there. Guy with 50-plus point upside does that frequently. And Boston, best of luck, Robert Williams. Al Horford, decent enough defender. That should be all right. But $8 and $28, that's going to be a smash. And, of course, I brought him up earlier, Dwight Howard, $12. Give me all of it. Talk to me about center over there.
Yeah, center over there, and just taking down looks. I mean, going down the list here, $10 still. I mean, Nas Reed, if you were to start, I think he's someone that we can definitely go to. And just going down the list here, guys at their value, who stand out as decent options at their respective price tags. I think LaMarcus Aldridge going there at $19 is not terrible in a matchup versus Minnesota. If Cat's ruled in, I do think Aldridge just solid. I think solid option. I think that they like what Aldridge has brought to them to this season, and I think we can definitely go there. Other guys at their price tags, I think Cat sub $40 if he plays. I like him quite a bit. Valanciunas $32. But I'm going to circle back yet again. After what I saw, what the Phoenix game plan was for DeAndre Ayton, it's going to be hard for me not to see them force feed the ball to DA again. Love Ayton's price tag, even at $28 tomorrow. Priority play for me for sure. I think just trying to find a way to get above the field significantly on DeAndre Ayton makes a lot of sense to me.
A lot of craziness in the NBA tonight. I believe San Antonio's up 18. Doug McDermott has 20 plus in Showdown. Oh, this could be fun. We could have some sweats in that regard. That's why Showdown's so great. Play multiple sites. Play at Yahoo. Play all over the place because we have the best tools and content here at Awesemo that can help you make positive EV lineups, help you win money. Then also tweet at Awesemo HOF, at Awesemo HOF on Twitter with your wins. We love seeing those. But Ryan, that's another week of the Slate Starter in the books. Absolutely love it. Check out our new podcast feed. Check out everything we have to offer over there because we're going to start doing giveaways very, very soon. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a comment. We love seeing those. But Ryan, any final words for the people?
Yeah, please subscribe to our podcast feed and then leave a 5-star review. Subscribing to that podcast feed helps us out a lot, tremendously. Eric and I especially, in terms of getting this podcast feed going. That's extremely helpful for us going forward. And your support already for those guys who have left reviews and 5 stars. Really appreciate that. And yet again, another week done. Good luck to you guys over the weekend. Some massive, massive NFL contests. And I will see you guys next week.
I'll be doing a lot of NFL content. Stop by, say hi, enjoy it. Ryan, best to the mother. Ryan, you're the man. I'm Eric. I'm kind of okay. We'll see you guys later.